What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Charge the Line. Roger Narvaez here with my co-host Tony Perez. Tony, this is what number?
No, we just talked about 28.
20,
No, 29.
29. So episode 29. So to all the haters out there, fuck y'all. We're still alive and kicking.
We're past 20 because that's
we're
what's statistic.
21. Statistically speaking, we're all about numbers on here.
Yeah.
Today, guys, we wanted to bring somebody in studio on the podcast that I've actually known for a little bit now. She is, in my opinion, she's a very strong woman. She's somebody not only mentally strong but physically strong. She has a great standing in the local community. She owns a gym here that is out in our area. She actually used to train at our gym a little bit. But today we have on the show Bria Barton, and she is the co-owner of Main Gate CrossFit. And so, Bria, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
No worries. So let's get right into it. So you've been doing CrossFit now for how long?
I've been doing CrossFit for almost 12 years now.
12 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you like religiously are doing
Yes.
it. Like
Yes.
5 in the morning, 4 in the morning.
4 o'clock in the morning.
4
Yes.
a.m. Okay, so what time do you go to sleep to get that kind of workout in?
I can't tell you that.
No?
'Cause it's one of those things where don't do what I do.
You do?
But you need to get sleep,
Right.
but I don't get enough
I don't know.
sleep.
I'm the same
So,
way. We just
yeah.
talked
And
about
so
this.
you don't get enough. You'll say you don't get sleep, and you feel like you need it, or are you one of those people that just 4 or 5 hours you're good?
I probably do need it, but I don't have a choice.
It's
I mean,
hard.
if I chose not to work out, then it would be fine. But
Yeah,
I want to work out.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
So
definitely.
you're gonna get up.
and
No,
that's the only time I can do it.
Is
Right.
that early morning?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get a little bit of background. You have your kiddos,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you
3
have 3 of
kids.
them. They all used to train jujitsu with me as
Awesome.
well. They're
Yeah.
little badasses.
Yes.
So you're running around doing that, owning the
Mhm.
business, and still finding time to stay on top of your CrossFit stuff.
Yes.
So what initially got you into CrossFit?
Well, my ex-husband was in the military,
Mhm.
and so where we were stationed in Spain, they had just started a CrossFit gym. And on military bases, I mean, the boxes are much different than out in town.
Okay, so let's
Yeah, well, yeah.
no wait the boxes.
The
What is
box.
it? What is the
Yeah.
box?
A box is a CrossFit gym.
There we go. For
Sorry.
all my laymen out there.
Yeah.
Okay, go
Yes,
ahead.
thank you.
Yeah.
And so I was already pregnant with Holden,
Okay.
my second one, and he had just started, so I was obviously going to wait until after I had him. So that's why I've been doing it for almost 12 years, because Holden will be 12 in
And-
November.
And so that's like 2011, 2010, something.
2011.
So that was like CrossFit 2000.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
It's early, right?
Super
Because
new.
08, I think, was like
Yeah.
the ranch games
Yeah.
or whatever. So
Oh, so
Yeah.
it was like just getting
it's
started.
Yeah.
you're like
Just
on
breaking into the
inception.
mainstream.
Yeah.
And so I think it was fun to start at a military affiliate because it's a whole different vibe.
Now you
in
said it was
there.
different. What do you mean by different? Just in the type
Because
of people?
you're not,
or?
the type of people, I mean, it's mostly all military, and then the spouses, but it's not really coached. So we were just kind of all learning off of CrossFit main site.
So that's
Wow.
funny you say that because for
Yeah.
years before I got like joined a box, I would just go to the main site.
Yeah.
Like, what's the workout? It would be at the station. It was back like
Yeah.
Yeah.
2010, 2009 or whatever. I would look, what's the workout of the day? And I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know. I'll look it up right
Right.
then, right? Look it up. It's
Yep.
like, oh, we have some rings. I could
Yeah.
do this. And so I would just do, like I probably did a year of just on my own, like doing
Yeah.
it before I like walked into a CrossFit,
Yeah.
Gym.
Well, and that's what we followed was main
Yeah.
site.
Whatever
so
they said.
there was no warm up. There was no like.
So
anything.
you were doing it
just did-
completely wrong at
Yeah.
the point. At
Probably,
the time.
yes. So, and then, so then we had moved, and I mean, we just continued from there, and then I was mainly doing it out of our garage though the whole time. So I was called a garage gymmer.
Oh, very nice.
Y'all had everything?
And just,
Y'all
we
had
had
everything?
And so when we moved to Guam, a girlfriend and I, she had just had a baby. I had already had Kimberlyn, my third one, and so we both had 3 kids at the time. We hired a babysitter so we could work out for like 2 hours together.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So y'all were taking it pretty seriously.
Yeah.
Now, before you started the CrossFit, stuff, did you really have any kind of level of fitness? Had you ever done sports before?
So I was athletic in high school. I did track and basketball.
Okay.
And then I would work out here and there after high school, but not, I mean, that was it.
Okay. And so once you had your you had Holden, right? You said it was
So Sawyer's the oldest.
right.
And so I wasn't working out, but I was a ballroom dance instructor.
Oh,
So I
okay.
was still somewhat
Trying to do
active.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Does that help you in CrossFit? Probably so. The gymnastics and stuff.
yeah.
Shut
Yeah.
up. That doesn't help.
I
in
mean,
CrossFit.
Well,
There's
like,
so many facets
yeah.
of CrossFit that they're
Ballroom
like.
dance.
well, it helps with my, I mean, because I was a ballroom dance instructor. I like teaching. I love coaching.
Right.
I was not a ballroom dancer. Like, I don't like the spotlight of that, but I loved teaching it.
Right,
So
helping people
that
out.
has helped me become a better CrossFit coach, I think.
Nice.
But
Nice.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess that does have a little bit to do with it, but maybe not the physicality. I don't know. I mean, I know ballroom dancers are pretty.
I never ballroom dance, but
They got cardio.
You
from
guys
hell.
should both do it.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. I might do some twerking, but that's about
that's
it.
cardio too.
Yeah, that's cardio. So as
What about? Let me ask before you move on. What
Yeah.
about like in your high school days? What about like weightlifting or Olympic lifting? Any of
So
that?
I didn't do any of that. I mean, my workout was just basketball practice,
Right.
track practice. That was all I did.
Were you intimidated by weights at all? Like you go into
Well, I feel like it wasn't I mean, I'm sure I know the football players did it, but
Right.
like it wasn't a thing for
to do strength training.
us
for
to
y'all.
do.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when you got into the CrossFit, was it intimidating knowing, or did you kind of know what you were getting into a little bit?
So because I was just watching it for months, like I wanted to do it so bad.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you went in
because
anticipating that.
I was athletic, so like I was already like competitive. So
Right.
like this wasn't.
So you
like,
felt like I could do this. Like
yeah,
you
I'm
wanted
like,
to-
oh yeah, I got this.
Yeah.
But it was very humbling because then, like, I mean, I had just had a baby though too, so I had
Right.
like all these things. Like, I had just had a baby. I hadn't worked out in a long time. I hadn't played sports in a long time, so it was very humbling. Like, oh, I can't lift this. I can't do a pull up.
Right.
You know, all of this stuff. So
That's
I can't
crazy.
do push up. You know, nothing. So.
Yeah. And if you see her now, she's always posting her workout videos, and it's like, holy shit, man! I feel like I think I worked out one time there with her, and I was, we work out together, right? And so like when I work out with anybody, it's always like I'm gonna push, and I'm like, fuck, this chick is like she's not slowing
different.
down.
It's different.
What the hell?
Yeah.
So and y'all with Main Gate, when did you guys open that up? Did you? I guess first of all, when you moved to Corpus, did you join a box first and then decide to
I
open
didn't
it?
because of the kids. So,
Okay.
still had the garage gym. So we've had Main Gate. It's now Main Gate Fitness, actually.
Oh, okay.
But it did start off as Main Gate CrossFit. CrossFit is a scary name.
Yes.
So we took that off about 3 years ago.
Okay.
So now it's Main Gate Fitness. But a
Okay.
lot of things, like some things still say CrossFit.
Yeah.
So,
Right, but it's still kind of geared towards the CrossFit.
but it is still CrossFit.
It's still CrossFit.
We're still affiliated with
Yeah.
CrossFit, but
You just don't
but
want,
it's,
and we'll get into that because
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of bad connotations with CrossFit. So I'm
Yeah.
sure that's a good
Yeah.
business move to
Yes.
maybe invite people in and get them to realize like, hey, it's not as bad
Yeah.
as you guys think it
Yes.
is. Okay.
Yeah.
So you said you moved here. When
So-
did you guys start that in 2000?
So it's probably, it was 5 years ago. So
okay,
whatever
so
that is.
2018,
Yeah.
2018 or so.
So we started that. There's been a lot of changes since then. We don't need to get
Yeah, we don't have to
into
get into that.
But I can say I am the only original owner that is left.
Nice.
So
nice.
I think
So
that's a good thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
something to definitely hang your hat on.
Yeah.
I think in today's day and age, there's a lot of people that like to make excuses, and obviously, like that's pretty impressive. I never realized like you got up at 4 a.m. because I know you're there, and I never
Yeah.
thought about it. But like, so your workout is at 4, but then you got to
and
coach.
then I coach the
So
5.
so it's not
Yeah.
like with me, I can go to jiu-jitsu. I teach jiu-jitsu, but then if I want to roll, like I can roll
Yeah.
and train with the students.
Yeah.
It's a little different when you're
Yeah.
the owner / coach.
Yeah.
Like you gotta.
Well, and we don't, like our coaches, like unless there's one person in the class, because
Right.
that happens sometimes, then we're like, okay, you can work out with them. But I mean, other than that, because actually coaching,
Yeah.
like hands
during the workout. Yeah.
Yeah, during
Yeah,
from from the time it starts to the time it ends.
So for maybe there's some people out there that are living under a rock or just too heavily into a bag of Doritos and Netflix episode. But what, how would you define CrossFit? What would you, for somebody that didn't know what it is, like how would you explain it to them?
So it's functional fitness. It's basically preparing you for life. And we have like a range of ages in there from teenagers to, I think our oldest is in her 70s or 80s. So it's not scary, like, especially for the 70 and 80-year-olds, like we're trying to get them to be able to sit down by themselves without,
Right.
or picking groceries up by themselves, stuff like that. And then for people in 30s, 40s, 50s, preparing them to be able to keep doing that stuff throughout their life.
So you guys are really heavily, it seems like, emphasizing just general health and well-being.
Yes.
Not necessarily, hey,
who can be the strongest.
right.
And,
Now,
yeah.
I'm sure you do have that naturally,
yeah.
right? You
Yeah.
have, I've seen that you've had people go to the CrossFit, regionals and things like that.
Regionals and games. We have had those athletes, but it's mainly geared towards the everyday person.
Was that something that you ever wanted to try and do, or when you got in it, was it more of a focus of just business, or?
When I first started CrossFit.
Yeah.
So when I first started CrossFit, I was like, well, when I'm older, like the Masters, I could definitely go to the games.
Right.
But I didn't realize that all those people that were
Yeah.
that were like at the games now, that they would also
They're
be masters now.
yes,
So
yes.
it didn't work out as planned. But I probably 6 years ago, I was like, yeah, that's not.
But you still do like competitions and stuff every once in a while.
every
right?
once in a while, just for
to test yourself.
for fun.
Yeah, that's cool. It's funny you say that because in jiu-jitsu, there's a lot of the same thing. Like the great thing about jiu-jitsu is they have the adult division, and then after 29, once you hit 30, there's master 1, master 2, master 3, all the way up to like master 7. But I was kind of that same mindset when I was like, oh, I'm moving up to master 2. Okay, well, yeah, you're moving up to master 2, but now you're going against black guys that have been black belts since you've been starting, jiu-jitsu. So I totally understand where you're coming from on that, because it's the same thing in jiu-jitsu. It's sometimes the masters guys will actually jump into the adult divisions and compete. I've done that, and do well or win. And it's like, man, you see these guys in their 40s and they're just smashing on these 20-something-year-old kids.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit, that's impressive.
But that's what I think is the cool thing, is like now you have these athletes in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, like at the games.
Absolutely.
Like super fit and just so strong. It's
Well,
really cool to
that's
see.
one thing that has been cool. I'm all about fitness. Any which way you get it, whether it's walking, whether it's Pilates, whether it's jiu-jitsu, CrossFit. So to see what I think is unique about CrossFit is the community. I mean, I don't want to call it a cult, right? But it's like people, it's the same thing with jiu-jitsu. People fall in love with it, and it brings people from all facets of life together.
Yes.
And that's what's so interesting about our gym is we have, people that are business owners, students, police officers, firefighters. There's been guys that are millionaires that you don't know because nobody knows their business, but it's like they're sitting in the same room rolling with that 16-year-old kid that just got out of school. So CrossFit seems to be kind of the same thing. So that's cool. Have you seen, is it a continuation, or like is it continually growing more and more, or have you seen it kind of hit like a plateau where it's kind of leveled off? I mean,
No, I think it's continuing to grow. I mean, because there's just gyms opening everywhere.
There's
And what you said earlier, like 5 years is really good, because you see a bunch that kind of come up and get popular and then they kind of fade away. But like 5 years is like, that's a good amount of time that you guys have.
I think we're in a good location, like with the military, like the base, like, and that's why we put it there.
Do you guys have a lot of military?
So we have a lot of pilots, but that's the thing with our gym, is that they're constantly rotating. So we don't ever grow.
Right,
to
you're
it.
just kind of like,
it's always because we have the pilots that are there for like 6 months, for 2 years, 3 years, and then they leave, but then we have a new pack that comes in.
Same thing.
Well, I'm sure that's
Same
word
thing
of mouth
actually.
too, like where they say like I'm looking for a place when like they're telling the guys that are coming in like go here, you know. It's
Well,
like,
yeah, so because they all come from Pensacola, and so and a lot of them, or they go back there, and so like we've had a lot of people like, oh, well, this person told me to come here, and we're like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's neat.
That is
It's well, and it's good that you guys have that kind of reputation.
Yeah.
I know that you're getting that. We get a lot of guys. I've had probably in the last 4 years about 4 or 5 pilots. Same thing.
Then
They
we
come,
lose them.
they do
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu, and then they take off. You know, and they're always super cool, super respectful guys. And so I'm sure that, you know, it's a great atmosphere there.
Yeah.
But you know, other than that, you have just your average people, your mothers that want to stay in shape and just, you know, continue to push themselves to be better. So, you know, I guess it's unique in the sense that really anybody can do it, right?
Yeah, like I said, we have a wide range. We have a whole family basically that just started about 6 months ago. I mean, the mom, the dad, they started. They then brought their older son, who was like 20, and then they brought their teenage kids, their 3 kids. Then his mom wanted to start, so she's there. Then his sister wanted to start, and
Holy
now
crap.
she's getting her daughter to
Dang.
start.
That's awesome.
And then we just tried to get the older mom to start as like, so the 2 grandmas would be there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So this whole family, and the dad has lost like 60 pounds.
Wow.
That's gotta
He
be cool to
came
see.
in. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, that's so
gotta be.
cool. I mean, because guys lose weight super fast, anyways,
We
which is
do.
really annoying.
We do.
And
yeah.
his wife is really annoyed by it because she's working just as hard.
Sure.
Right,
But
right.
he's, you know,
It's just the nature of the beast.
But
Yeah.
he came in just this full beard. And he one day shaved it off, and I was like, "Oh my gosh,
that's
you
like
look
10
like
pounds by
I
itself,
know." And he looks 10 years younger. And he's like, "Well, I don't have like a triple chin anymore, so I don't have to hide
He's
it." I was
not
like,
trying to
"That's
hide
so
it. That's
cool."
You know,
awesome.
I always say like we all work with mostly guys, but like when guys lose weight, they do look younger. They're
Yeah.
like you're going back in time. Like
Yeah.
you like look like what happened,
Yeah.
you know? And
Yeah.
it does happen when you lose. But it's funny, you lose too much weight, then it's like, man, something like
Yeah,
what's wrong with
something's
you?
off. Well, you're
Yeah.
sick. Are you dying?
Yeah, they say that. Are you sick?
dying?
Or you need a sandwich? But yeah, you lose weight and man, you feel better, look
Yeah.
better. It's like
Yeah.
so many things.
And
And they work outside, so they're like, I mean, they're working outside all day, so they're like, we just feel so much better
Oh,
now
yeah.
doing
Yeah.
this.
Translates to
I
that.
mean, and that's
Well, because
I mean,
y'all are don't have central heat and air.
no,
right?
so we're
It's
basically
just a metal building.
Yeah.
You've got all the workout equipment, and
Mm-hmm.
so that's great. No, until it gets like 20 outside, which doesn't happen often, but it does. And I know that's
yeah, that's cold.
warm ups, and
Yep.
that's
Yeah.
you got to be hardcore into fitness to do those
Yes,
workouts.
at 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah,
It's-
Yeah.
that's so. Let's get into that a little bit. I mean, what drives you? I mean, obviously at one point you made a decision, right? You were a mom. You probably, like you said, hadn't worked out. Then you started working out. But there's a difference between somebody that just works out, right? You know, on a 2-3 times a week, tries to stay somewhat in shape, and then somebody like yourself. You're not competing. You're not, doing this for anything other than to push yourself.
Right.
So, what is your why? Why 4 a.m? Why, why push yourself the way you do when you really don't have to?
For my kids, I want to set a good example for them. I want to be able to do everything with them. Yeah. I mean,
that's a
and
good.
and like I said, it's the only time I can do it so that I don't have to take as much time away from them.
Right. Well, yeah, absolutely. And
So-
that's the thing. It's you said it right there. I think that's one of the things. Many people have many different reasons, but ultimately I try to tell people all the time, like, when it comes down to it, you want to be able to do things with your kids. You
Yeah.
want, I know guys, I mean, I just had I have a 4-month-old now, and I'm going to be 40, and they're like, you're going to be old and you're going to be 60 and you're going to be able to do shit. I'm like, I'm going to be the most jacked 60-year-old out there, because that is another reason why I'm now, I have that responsibility to them.
Yeah.
So for you to take that stance, I mean, that's absolutely admirable, because I can relate to it. I think there's a lot of people that don't realize their lack of drive, their lack of motivation, it's not only going to affect them, but it's going to affect their kids.
Yeah.
I mean, when they're older and their kids are having to take care of them, having to take them to the hospitals, having to do all this stuff, like, I mean, that's something that, you know, God forbid you get cancer or, you know, some kind of unforeseen illness. But these are all things that we have in our control as far as diabetes and, well, for type 2 diabetics, diabetes and, you know, hypertension and, you know, cardiac disease and, you know, those kind of things. They're all things that you can prevent by eating right, staying fit, and, you know, working out. And the thing I do like about CrossFit, because I got to be honest, and we'll get into it in just a second, I'm not a huge fan, mostly because I'll just be real, I can't do a lot of the shit because my joints are all fucked up, right? And I'm the type that, like, if I can't do it,
started CrossFit,
if, no, seriously, I might have,
which is what we'll get into.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where I think there's a lot of misconceptions about it, obviously, because I mean, you're doing it and you seem like you're doing everything the right way. But then again,
so do you want to get into that?
Yeah, because okay. I think here's the thing: is there's a lot of CrossFit gyms out there, much like, and I bring up jiu-jitsu because that's what I know, much like jiu-jitsu gyms, where they're just like puppy mills. They just want to get people in and put people, you know, they don't care if they positively impact those people's lives or if they're just there for the month and dropping money. They don't care. They just want the money. They want the numbers, right? And there's CrossFit gyms, I'm sure, that are like that people come in and they aren't necessarily there to you know, teach them the right way. They just want to get them going and get them paying.
Yeah.
You know?
So like I said, like we coach from the start of the class to the end of the class. We're really big on scaling and modifying and making sure that everyone's moving safely. Before, if you're brand new to CrossFit, you have to go through our basic training, because you can't just jump in the class. Like, you have to at least, we teach you the foundational movements of CrossFit, which is air squat, front squat, overhead squat, and then from there, like the presses and all that stuff. And then go over some other movements just to make sure, because once you're in class, you're still being coached. So it's not like we just let you go. But then we also make sure that everyone is moving safely. Again, we're not just like, here, just deadlift. You know, we go over the points of performance, showing you how to do it correctly so that nobody gets hurt. And because that is the misconception. One of the misconceptions is like, well, I'm not going to do it because I'm going to hurt my shoulders, or I'm going to do this, and you know. But if you're moving correctly and you're using your body correctly, I'm not going to say you're not going to get hurt, because people do get hurt, but you can get hurt doing anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you could
twist your knee. Yeah. I agree.
So
and
like
you said it like every movement has a modification. So like, because I think people see, like, you see these videos, right? And like fail videos mainly. It's like, why wouldn't we be able to do that? It's like, well, that you don't have to necessarily do an overhead squat, or you can do it with very little weight or PVC or, you know, whatever.
Well, I mean, even like, and that's one of the biggest ones is like, people don't want to overhead squat because they think it's going to hurt their shoulders. But if you have your shoulders in the correct position, you're not going to hurt your shoulders. Right. But if you can't do that, then yes, you start off lighter. And if you just, because some guys, mostly guys, don't have that mobility to do that.
I can't
so
do
we
it.
just have you front squat, and it's not a big deal. But then that's the other problem is people are like, well, if I can't do it, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, that's my thing.
Then that's stupid.
Yeah,
like,
no. I'm going to find something. If she can overhead squat and I can't, like, no, I'm leaving.
So that's a good point. How much of that, and I recently started jiu-jitsu, and it's like, everyone always said, like, leave your ego at the door. And so like CrossFit should be the same. It's like, if you come in and it's like, there's going to be people doing overhead squat. You don't know the movement. You're not going to be able to put any weight on the bar. Yeah. I mean, you may not be able to do the bar, period. I mean, overhead squat, you don't have the movement down. Yeah. So how important is that? You know.
Yeah. No, I mean, and we have that.
What do you do when that guy like me that has a big ass ego walks in? And I'm just playing. I don't really have a big ego. But when he walks in and he's like, no, I'm ready. Like, and he doesn't want to take no for an answer. I mean, is it kind of like, okay, try, or is it like, no, this is the way we do things?
So, I mean, every coach is different. And I try to tell my coaches, like, you have to be strong enough to tell that person, like, you have to listen to me, or you don't have to be here. This is not the gym for you.
Right.
So I mean, and sometimes we let them try to like be like, okay, do it.
Yeah.
And then you can fail and then come talk to me.
Right.
But most of the time people are like, oh, you were right. I'm like, I usually am.
Yeah. I think that's it. We've had guys come in the gym and they're like, I'm ready. I've got this much experience. It's like, okay, they can't. And then we put them on the bag, because we start everybody now in the bag class, you know, and we'll talk to our coaches like Noel and be like, hey man, how do they look? And this guy can't throw a jab to save his life, but supposedly he has all this boxing experience. But some people are just have that, they're so ego driven. And I wonder how much you see that, or if it's more of a rarity.
Well, yeah, because we have a lot of like the pilots that come in and they think they're strong.
Right.
And they don't use their body correctly.
Exactly.
So, because they're like, I'm strong, I can just lift this weight. And I'm like, no, I need you to like, because usually their arms are strong. So they're like, I'm just going to pull this off the ground. Yeah. And I'm like, no, I actually need you to use your legs to jump and use your body correctly.
Right. So. I think I did a video one time a while back, and I was doing a clean and squat, but I was basically reverse curling. And I was like, she's like, hey, you're doing that all wrong.
You got some free coaching online.
I'm like, I'm trying to do it right, but it wasn't. And I love CrossFit because I love the competition aspect of it. And I think any time that you can work out with somebody and you're pushing your heart rate, like this isn't just like, okay, Tony's lifting 105s on the bench press, now I'm going to try to do the 110s. No, it's like he's trying to get 10 cals done in this amount of time on the Aerodyne, and I'm over here trying to do it faster than him. Like, I think to me, that's like that's more of a fun kind of competition,
Yeah. I mean, so that's the fun part about CrossFit is like the competing in the classes or even on the scoreboard. So we have an app that everyone posts their scores so you can kind of see throughout the day. But kind of on that same topic, like talking about like coaching and stuff, is you have to follow a stimulus as well. So like, and that's part of like the whole ego thing. Like if the board says for the guys like that they have to lift 105 or something, and you can do it and you can lift it one time, but you can't do it 20 times like I'm asking you to, then you need to scale that down.
Okay.
So
that's like the prescribed, like you'll have a prescribed weight and then you're going to go off of that.
Yeah. So we're really good about like describing the stimulus of the workout, like like on the bike, it's only supposed to be like 30 seconds on the bike. But if it's taking you 45 seconds to a minute, you need to stop at 30 seconds no matter what.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, we have to stop a lot of people, like their egos.
A lot of times too, because just from looking back in the day, just looking at the main site, it's like you look at something and you say, doesn't seem like much. A lot of the benchmark workouts, it's like that 2 minutes doesn't seem like much until you do it. And it's like, this is horrible. It's like,
but then you have days back to main site that it's like just lifting and people are like, I'm not gonna just go lift, and it's like, no, you need those days too. Like every day shouldn't be like super intense.
That's what I find so unique about it, is that there's a programming aspect to it. In fact, that seems to be the main thing, right? Is the programming. But how do you throw somebody just like into that programming when they start up? Because to me, when I think programming, I'm thinking like when I used to fight and my coach would write me a program, it would be like, okay, for these 4 weeks, we're going to focus on strength training. Then we're going to work on explosiveness. Then we're going to work on accessory muscle usage and agility. And so that was kind of the programming. So if somebody came in while I was in my strength training phase, but they didn't do this, like, is it kind of the same thing?
But you're training for something.
Yes.
So it doesn't, like if they come in the middle of our cycle, it's not, I mean, then they come in,
fall into it and go from this.
Yeah. I mean, cause we just finished a cycle. So like everyone was hitting their 1 rep maxes for the certain lifts. And we just, have those people not like break their backs, just lift heavy that day.
How do you, or how long are y'all cycles generally? Do they vary?
They vary.
Okay.
Yeah. And we actually just switched programs. So our last cycle was 16 weeks.
Oh, shit.
This one is only 8 weeks.
Yeah, that's only 8 weeks. That's still 16 weeks. I mean, you're looking at a quarter of a year.
Yeah, it was a long one.
That's intense.
Yeah.
And so those programs, how many days a week are those? Are they like
it's 5?
5 days a week? So do you work out 5 days a week?
No.
You work out more.
Yes.
I
work out
say
6 days a week.
6 days. So you do take
Typically.
one day at least to take it easy. Sunday rest day.
Yes.
Good. Cool. Yeah. You know, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've stolen some of your workouts for like some of our workouts because, I mean, I like the aspect of lifting and pushing your heart rate.
Yeah.
Like that's my favorite. In fact, those are some of my most enjoyable workouts. Is like I genuinely hate like lifting heavy. Like if it's a squat day or something like that, like I'm dreading it. I would rather get in and do like some sandbag, throws or like some dumbbell, kettlebell snatches mixed with like Aerodyne or the ski erg. I got everything here now. So I've got like my assault bike, I've got the ski erg, and I got a rower.
Oh,
and
cool.
now I want to get one of those ski erg bikes. I think you guys have them there. They're just not.
It's almost like a spinning bike.
The C2.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
the C2. I call them ski erg, but because those I like those because you can get on those, and I like the idea of getting on it and like ramping it up and then sitting back down and resting. And then I used to do spin bikes at the athletic club,
like the class.
When they not the class. I did those like once, and then
those are tough.
I can't do the neon lights and all the enthusiasm. I don't want people.
That's why I don't like
much
CrossFit. He doesn't like enthusiasm.
Yeah, I don't like people smiling at me when I'm like
screaming at him.
Yeah, I'm like fucking
No water breaks.
No water breaks. You don't need that shit. But it's one of those things where I enjoy the push that you get from getting that heart rate up, resting for a second, and then not only that, but like the competition. It's like, oh, he's on his 5th rep. I'm counting. I don't count my reps. I count his reps. Like, I'm trying to. That's to me. That's what makes us better because we're constantly pushing, trying to hit numbers. Trying to really.
There's something to it too that we've talked about before. Is like whenever you have the accountability of, if you're a member of a box and you have the people that you normally work out with and they're going to be there.
Yeah.
Like you can't miss.
Yeah.
Like I can't not go. They're expecting me to be there. I got to be there. And that's just what we kind of deal with. Like if not every morning is easy, but if he's going to be there, it's like he's expecting me to roll up here. So I got to go.
Yeah.
And there's something to that.
So I, for a long time, was working out by myself at 4 a.m. And now there's another mom that her son was doing football. So practice was like at 6 a.m. So she's like, I have to start coming early. And I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this has been like over a year now, almost 2 years. So now like on those days that I'm like, I don't want to get up. Like I'll just get there. I'm like, but she's going to be there. And she doesn't miss a day either. Yeah. So that's impressive.
I always knew you work out early, but I didn't think you were crazy.
Yeah. So a 4 a.m. workout, what time are you waking up? What time is it?
3:30.
3:30?
Yeah. Because it's pretty like close. 5 minutes from my house.
Get up and go. That's the nice thing about having the garage. I'm like, all right, let's do this. Get up. Literally, I just have to get up. If I can get up out of bed, then I have no excuse to like get there. Yeah. But that's the hardest part. That alarm goes off and you're like, fuck, this is gonna suck. But you do it. Right? You do
and once I'm there, I'm so glad that I did it. Yeah. It's just that 100%. Like the first 5 seconds, because I'm not a snoozer either. Like once my alarm goes off,
you're up.
I'm up.
I'm the same way.
But like I roll over and I'm like, I don't want to do this. But then like I think like once I'm there, I'm fine. Yeah. And it makes my whole day better. If I don't get to work out, I'm like,
do you ever have those days? Because I mean, let's be real. Like working out that much, I know because we work out a lot too. We probably work out 5 days a week, maybe 4, and definitely for me it's like twice a day. I know he's been hitting jiu-jitsu, so that's a twice a day thing. But I mean, do you ever give yourself that time to recover? I mean, because working out 6 days a week, you're not really recovering.
No.
So,
but I don't ever feel like I need to.
Okay.
Like
But you
I
do.
Don't know. I probably do.
Right? It's like the sleep thing. It's like, and I'm with you on the sleep thing.
Someday it'll catch up.
For me, I know like a lot of times too, like not every workout is the highest intensity. I mean, so like there's days where my workout is.
You haven't seen her workouts.
I haven't. But
they're like every fucking day is like.
No, but so there are some days though that like, because I have Achilles tendonitis, so I can't like do a lot of running. I still sometimes
I
run
made
when
that
I'm not
mistake.
supposed to. So there are some days that I'm like, yeah, this whole workout, I'm going to have to modify everything.
Right.
So I'll do like accessory work and stuff instead. So, I mean,
You're still there. You're doing
but I'm
something.
still there. I'm still doing
but it's
something.
not like
it's just not
this crazy taxing where you're going to be, need to recover.
Yeah.
What's the worst injury you've ever had from doing CrossFit?
I've never
Never
this is
been
probably, I
injured?
mean, the Achilles tendonitis, but I think that was from kickboxing.
Oh, don't start bringing kickbox. Don't blame kickbox. Let's not blame the
Because-
CrossFit.
Because I'm barefoot and doing like jump roping and all that stuff.
Jump rope
like,
you can.
yeah, and
Yeah,
because
it has
when
nothing to do with the million double unders you probably did the day
well,
before.
yeah, I mean, so that's what hurts. But I'm at least in shoes.
Yeah,
doing it at the gym.
Box jumps, you can't box jump right now? Or you
So that's the weird thing is box jumps I can. It's just
step down instead
yeah,
of.
and then step. Oh yeah, I've never jumped down.
Yeah.
That's a
So
whole- that's a whole
what
other
is your
story.
favorite shoe as a CrossFitter to use?
My favorite shoe,
Yes.
the Reebok Nanos.
Perfect. That's what I
Yeah,
use.
that's what you like.
Yeah,
Like the
that's what
Metcons.
I always like to
Oh,
ask. 'Cause
I can't wear those.
Oh, the old Metcons. I'm wearing some like I
Oh.
don't know which ones they are. The 4s, maybe they're older ones. The newer ones I haven't tried, but
Yeah.
I have an old pair that I bought the same pair over and over and over, just like
Yeah.
them.
I buy the Nanos
Yeah,
Reebok
always
runs
buy
a sale like every year and they're like
Yeah.
half off, so I always buy it. I think they do it like twice a year, and that's when I buy them. Whether I need them or not, I'm buying them because they're like 75.
I always like because we could always squat in them, so it wouldn't matter what we were doing.
That was my thing. I bought squatting.
Yeah.
Like Ashley actually got me some squatting shoes for my birthday or Christmas or something, and I thought they were great. I was like, oh, these are gonna be awesome. And then I bought those, and I'm like, I don't even need them.
Yeah.
These shoes are so
Are
perfect.
they're like lifters?
He had
I had
ollie
lifters.
lifters.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that helps me though with my Achilles tendonitis.
does
Because it shortens it.
Yeah. So it feels really good to have
good.
those on
Yeah.
when I'm doing that. Yeah.
How were Olympic lifting? That's like, I mean, people are doing that. Like that could be a whole, thing by itself as far as like learning it, right?
Yeah.
It's like so.
Well, let's be real. That's
Te-
one of the big things that
technical,
one of the issues that I think people have is you've got this Olympic lifts take years to perfect, right? I mean,
Right.
they're in the Olympics for a reason.
Mhm.
And then you have somebody that comes in and does them and they're doing them within a month.
Yeah.
I mean,
And so that's, I mean, what you'll have people say like Olympic lifting should not be part of CrossFit.
how do you feel about that?
I think if they're taught properly and if they, as much as we can, we try to make sure that people are staying light until they do get it down. Yeah. And I mean, no one's going to be perfect, but I mean, we do try to make sure that they stay light until they get it. So,
yeah.
I mean, I think as long as they're moving properly, it should be fine.
Yeah,
It should be fine.
And it's humbling because it's hard. I mean, it's very difficult. You're very strength plays into it, obviously, but it's a lot of technique,
Yeah.
So, like you were saying earlier, using your body correctly, you just unless you have it down, and when you do it right, it feels like wow, that was light, and then whenever it's like you do it wrong, it's like that's way wrong,
Yeah.
So it takes time,
But so for like our 70 and 80-year-olds, like we don't have them use a barbell to do a snatch. We have them use dumbbells because they don't need to be doing Olympic weightlifting.
Right.
So,
Well, like you said, their purpose for doing what they're doing is probably totally different than somebody that's much younger. At that point, they're just, I mean, it's a win. At 70 years old, 80 years old,
Yeah,
I'm
you're in a
showing
gym.
up to the gym.
Yeah, you're doing
That's
good.
a win.
Yes.
That's a win. And that's what I tell people all the time. I had a party and one of my friends his wife was cracking on me because he's like, yeah, you're going to be all broken when you're older. She's like, you're buff. Like, I get it. You're buff, but you're going to be like broken when you're older. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm going to be fine because that's why I'm lifting. I like, who do you think they call upon, like, when they need to lift that 500-pound patient? Everybody looks one way, and that's my way, right? And it's because I'm preparing myself.
Yeah.
You're gonna hurt your back. No, I'm not gonna hurt my back because I'm preparing myself for those
loads.
situations.
Yeah. Well, even like the 70-year-old, one of the ladies that we have, I don't think it was her doctor that said. He said you need to start strength training because she has osteoporosis.
Okay.
And
which
she was
is very
just doing
common with women. Yes.
And she was just doing Pilates. Yeah. So, and like she's addicted to fitness, so she's there 5 days a week also.
Wow.
But yeah, she definitely needs, so we were very like careful with her, but because she's so addicted to fitness, she was like, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. So that was kind of fun to watch too.
Well, you can, you know, by watching them and stepping back, I mean, you, like you said, you're watching them to where you're not going to let them get hurt.
Right.
You're not going to let them put themselves in a position where you're not going to let her grab a 60-pound dumbbell and try to snatch it over her head right off the bat. So that's big. I think it's a, you know, what I like about the CrossFit is not only the community that it provides, but the proper coaching. When you have those proper coaches there, they're actually overlooking you and keeping an eye on you. And then if you got questions, you can ask them. Like I think a lot of people are afraid to work out because they don't know where to start. Right. So they'll avoid the gym altogether just because they've never worked out before. They don't know what they're doing. And, you know, so having
which
a place,
the beauty of CrossFit is,
well,
that's all done for you.
Yeah,
you just
that's
show
what
up.
I was going to say. Like CrossFit would be the perfect thing for anyone to start because you don't have to. So the misconception is they watch the CrossFit games or YouTube and they see all these big buff people doing all this crazy stuff.
Yeah, because it is.
And they're like, I
and
can't
it keeps
do
getting
that.
Crazier.
Well, it does.
And they're really the outliers.
Didn't
like
they just
most CrossFit.
But they just added something. They're like adding more gymnastics to it, right?
Some like backwards flip over the
it's
bar.
It's like getting. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm definitely.
But that's not what we do.
Right.
Like that's not what we do at the gym. Yeah. So like, yeah, CrossFit would be, if someone needed to start their fitness journey, CrossFit would be, in my opinion, the place to start.
Well, I think another misconception is people don't realize that you guys actually program. Like they don't realize, like, it's not just come in and you're gonna just like max out or like
do whatever,
run 4
There's
miles.
A purpose.
And
to all
yes,
of it.
You have a structure, you have a program that you follow, and then you are able to input them into that wherever. Which is I didn't know that, so that's interesting.
Yeah, another misconception is women come in and they're like, well, I don't want to get big and bulky.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
we
oh,
talk
you're
about
not.
that all the time.
You're not.
You realize, like, people, there's guys in the gym every day lifting heavy weight and they can't get big and bulky.
Yeah.
They're trying to get big and bulky and they can't get big and bulky.
I'm like, you're not. So I've had one lady, she's been with us for 5 years. And that's the first thing that she told me. And she's like this tiny little thing too. Right. She's like, I don't want to get big and bulky. And I'm like, you're not. Like,
it's hard. Yeah.
The people that you see at the games, this is their full-time job. Right. They train all day long. And then it's their nutrition as well. Like, nutrition
and
is
genetics.
huge.
Some of them too. A lot of those are collegiate athletes. Or they would have been, if they weren't in the CrossFit games, they would have been playing in the NFL. Right. I mean, that's the caliber of who they are. It's like, it's not me and you.
Well, it's who is it? Not Rich Froning, but I just went blank. Matt Frazier. Mm-hmm. Like, he was a college power lifter, wasn't he? So it's
was it Olympic?
He might. I know he's trained at the Olympic.
A lot of these guys, the Jason Khalipa, Matt Frazier. I mean, these guys were specimens before. Yes. I mean, they were going to be.
So
good
don't worry. If you're average, you're not going to be that. Okay. You're not going to just walk in and just fucking look like, David's daughter or something like that.
You've probably seen these transformations that are amazing to watch.
Right.
I mean, at a different caliber or whatever. But everyone has a different level of like physical limitations and whatnot. So it's like just seeing someone lose weight or have muscle definition that they didn't have before, have their clothes start to fit better. Like those are wins. Yeah.
Those are success stories right there. Yeah. And what's awesome about that is you're not only impacting them for the short term, but these are obviously people, and this is what we try to preach to people, is like, once you start seeing those changes and feeling better, like, you're not going back. No. You're not going to look back. You're oftentimes when people diet, of course, you gain weight, you lose weight, but when you make a lifestyle change and you add fitness into that, like, you're never ever going to regress to the point where you were, fat and out of shape. Like, it's just not going to happen. Yeah. The older we get, of course, the harder it is to stay in shape, but if you keep moving, you're still going to maintain some kind of fitness. And that's the big thing that we try to let people know, because I think oftentimes age, number one, is a huge thing. People are always making an excuse. I don't have the time. You know, that's another big thing. And to anybody listening, to anybody that's a mom, like she's got 3 kids that are heavily involved in different extracurricular activities. She's a business owner. So,
and I have a full-time job.
Yeah. So it's like time is what you make of it. Right. And I was telling Tony the other day, it's like people always want to say they don't have time. But then when you ask them what happened on the last episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, they are able to answer it like that. Yeah. And it's like, well,
and the time is a good point, but like, I mean, we probably spend more time, like one CrossFit class, we spend more time like just showing up at the gym. What are we going to do today? You know, trying to figure something out. Like it's regimented to where it's like, this is when we start. This is when you're going to be in and out. You're coming in. This is what we're doing. And you're out. Like if that's your excuse, like you can get in and get out. Yeah. And you're done.
And you're done. And you're done. And that's the great thing about it is like for anybody that is struggling with trying to fit it in, like they show up. You've got the coaching there. Yeah. They get it in. They're done. They're accomplished for the day, and then they can move on with whatever it is. Yeah. You know. Do you have a time as far as what you see more? Like, what are y'all's peak times for?
The afternoon, like 5, 6 o'clock.
Oh, the after work.
Yeah, people getting off of work. Yeah.
So the afternoons are busier than the mornings, early mornings. Yeah. But the early morning people are pretty dedicated.
Yeah, like we always say that. Like 5 a.m. is like the dedicated group.
Well, that's, I mean, because it takes a lot.
And like sometimes, sorry to interrupt you, but the afternoon, like, you know, people kind of switch around, like what times they come. But it's always the 5 a.m. Same. Like it's the same people. Like there's no one ever from the evening that
jumps in the morning.
5 a.m. Yeah.
They have the routine, and that's what they stick to. You know, which is good.
I think that's anywhere. Like
I remember in hybrid, it was like that too.
When we worked out at my buddy's gym, it was kind of like that. They kind of looked down upon everybody because they were
the
like
5 a.m. and the 6 a.m. They were, and the 5 a.m. was busier than the 6 a.m., which I always thought was kind of crazy, but that was the most popular class.
Yeah. We joked the other day. We were like, Christy and I, we were like, we're built different because we come early.
No, seriously, you are like you're crazy.
You're 4 a.m. I don't know. That's another category.
You have to have a little bit of like crazy in there to be able to wake up and get yourself up at 3:30 in the morning and go and push your body to the extent that you do, and knowing that you got a full day ahead of you. And you know that's great though. I mean, I tell people all the time, like if you want to be great, you're gonna have to risk being crazy. Like you're gonna have to risk people calling you nuts. You're gonna have to risk people calling you dumb. I hear it all the time. People talking shit to me for doing jiu-jitsu, rolling around, you know, with guys and blah blah and all this shit. And it's just like, they say that because they're not willing to, you know.
But I mean that's the thing, you know, that's been going around lately. Like we get judged for that, but no one says anything about you eating like 5 Whataburger. You know what I mean?
No.
Or like just
that's what we do.
Oh, you can't.
That's what we do here. That's what we do here. Is we call people fat, lazy pieces of shit. No, but seriously, it's like, you know,
like why are we crazy for doing this?
Absolutely.
And this is healthy. I mean,
you're right. It's
like addictions, right? Like, I mean, if we're gonna be addicted to something, addicted to working out is probably one of the.
We just did an episode. We're gonna release it Monday, but we just did an episode with our other buddy, and I was tempted, and I didn't say this on the episode, but I was tempted to call it Fat Responder because instead of First Responder, right? We ended up calling it Fit for Duty because I didn't want to, you know, piss anybody off right off the bat. I wanted them to actually listen to what we have to say because we're totally not bashing on it.
The topic on that one was just the standard, like, you know.
But that's what I'm saying is like why so. And in the fire service in general, there's an epidemic and it's obesity. And when you look at it, there's 75% when you walk into any department around the nation, you walk into a station, more than not 75% is going to be of a minimum standard or lower, and then as far as physical fitness, and then the outliers are going to be that 25%. But like you said, it's the outliers that often get the flack or that get chastised or ridiculed, and it's like, why? Like, I'm trying to be better for and to be honest, like, it doesn't affect anybody other than me. You know, me going to the gym, me working out, me waking up. But I think that it's deeper than that. I think that there's people our success in doing what we do and trying to maintain a fitness, because that's the big thing. I know I'm jumping around a lot, but like when you're older, that's usually the first thing that they throw at you is, oh, wait till you're this age. I say it all the time. People say, wait till you're 30, wait till you're 35, wait till you're 40. I'm like, I've been waiting, and I'm going to be 45 and 50 and 55 and 60 and still doing the same thing. But it's because they're not willing to do it. It's because they've let themselves get to a point where they're not willing to maintain their level of fitness. So it's gone so far on the wayside. Now it's going to be extremely hard if they want to keep up. You know? But somebody like yourself, driven, motivated, you know, you have your routine. You're obviously disciplined to wake up every day, work out 5 to 6 days a week, and do the type of workouts that you're doing. I mean, that's impressive. It takes a lot. It takes a lot. So that being said, like, what kind of supplementation do you take? Are you, you know, as far as your diet, like, do you follow any kind of specific diet? Like, what is your nutrition like in that aspect?
I don't take any supplements besides protein shakes.
Okay.
I just have never really wanted to.
Okay.
Or I'm sure they work and I'm sure they're great, but I've just used nutrition as
your fuel.
Yeah. I've never followed a diet.
Right.
I've tracked my macros, but I just eat the same thing every day and every night. Like,
for real?
Yes.
And what are you eating, Noel? Because you're not eating much easy, right? He's like, I'm gonna.
But he makes fun of me because I eat this. But it, like, I just make it.
You know what works.
I know it works. I just make it, and it's easy. Like, it's there.
Do you allow yourself to have? Those?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you're
and so, like, when I did my bikini competitions 2 years ago, like, obviously I was super strict.
Right.
Like, no cheating. Now, like, I still eat that same stuff, like the same stuff that I ate then, but I, like, allow myself because that's my lifestyle, but, like, I'm okay with, because of where I am, like, indulge. I can have a donut if I want to.
We mentioned that the other day too. It's like, once you get to a certain level of fitness, then you can afford to have those moments where
but you can also, like, even if you're trying to lose weight. So I believe that counting macros is the best way to go.
So your protein, your carbohydrates, and your fats.
Yeah. Like, if you're just getting started, just making sure that you're getting your protein. Like, protein is probably the most important, but people usually overeat on carbs, and not good carbs, and fats. So, like, starting with just proteins is the best. But counting your macros, you know, if you have a nutrition coach that's given you your macros for your body, that's, I mean, how you're going to be successful with losing weight, because it's for your body.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just go into MyFitnessPal and have it, like, calculate something for you.
Sure? Because I've done it, and it's pretty.
Well, but again, you're a guy. Like, you're gonna.
That's true.
That's true. And that probably, like, that's better than nothing.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, if you want to do that, like, I'd rather you do that than, because
do you
some
guys
people
provide
can't.
anything like that?
We do not.
Y'all
no.
don't. Do you refer anybody? Do y'all have somebody that you work with?
No.
Just let people know.
So I used to do nutrition coaching. It's really hard.
Yeah.
Because people don't want to listen.
Yeah.
And they don't want to do it. And
And then they're like, "Why can't I lose weight?" Well, you fucking had 10 donuts last week and you didn't follow the plan. That's why.
Well, and then it's easy to say, like, it's not working. It's like, well, are you sticking to it, you know, consistently, you know? So
because you would have people that, like, because I could see what they would log, and I'm like, but it doesn't look like this. Like, it doesn't look like you're being honest.
Right.
So, I mean,
and you can't help somebody.
Yeah,
lying.
I'm not there holding your hand the whole time, and you can't.
Right.
So,
yeah, I got out of that. That's about frustrating for sure. For sure.
Like, definitely. I can be a CrossFit coach because for that hour you're gonna listen to me,
right?
And I'm there. I am there holding your hand, right? But nutrition coaching, because I'm not there 24/7 with you, I can't.
Yeah.
Do
well,
that.
and then they're there to work out, so you're helping them work out.
Yeah.
If they want to decide to go eat some Whataburger and French fries or whatever afterwards, that's on them, right? So.
But what I was gonna say though with macro counting is, like, you can have a cookie and add it in there, and you can still lose weight. Like, you don't have to
simple
within the
math
macros.
Yeah,
the
as
simple
long
math
as you're
is
within.
calories in versus calories
Yeah.
out, right?
Yeah.
Ultimately, like, of course, the kind of calories matter, but in the end, when you're watching things at that level, if you have, a piece of dark chocolate or something like a donut, I mean, as long as you work it in and you're staying in a deficit of burning calories, you're still going to lose weight. Yeah. And that's something I think people, it always gets me when you have these people and they start working out and they're first of all, they've never worked out, they've never dieted before, and they've got this personal trainer that went and took a class online for like 2 weeks and then took a test, and now he's telling them to eat broccoli and chicken with no flavor, no seasoning, and like that's it.
It's not
and
sustainable.
Yeah, I mean, and then it's horrible. I feel bad because they're like, I was supposed to eat this and that, and I failed, and then they feel like shit. When in reality, it's the trainer, in my opinion, that failed them because he's setting up these unreal standards. Like Tony said, it's not sustainable.
Right.
And, that's just not going to help anybody.
Because you're trying to create these habits to turn into a lifestyle.
Your lifestyle. Yeah.
Your lifestyle
not
habits.
Just a diet. Yeah.
Right. Right. And that's why I said I've never, it's not.
So when you started CrossFit, is that when you started your habits with nutrition, or had you already eaten?
No.
So you didn't start till after CrossFit, like with your nutrition?
Yeah. I didn't probably start like nutrition like maybe 4 years ago.
Okay.
Like I really dialed into it.
Well, if you did a bikini bodybuilding, then you had to be. I mean,
right. So, but that was 2 years ago.
And
so that I was like, very dialed in.
And did you see, obviously, you started to see a major change once you started getting that nutrition?
Yes.
Because you were working out. I mean, if you were doing CrossFit for 8 years before that, I mean, you were still pushing. You're still working out.
But I still had, like, because I was just eating whatever I wanted.
Right.
Because I'm like, well, I'm working out. I can eat whatever I want.
Yeah.
But once I dialed it in, I saw a huge difference.
Huge change.
Yeah.
Well, he's a living testament to that.
For years. I worked out for years and very little changes until we changed up the diet. I do have a question. When you did the bikini show, were you still using CrossFit as your weight training, or did you have to change up?
So I told my coach that was because it was my nutrition, the company that I was working for, with nutrition coaching. That's what they did. They did a lot of bikini competitions.
Okay.
So he was like, "Hey, you should do this. You'd be great at it." And I'm like, "That's not really my thing." And he was like, "No, I think you would be really good. And like, let's just do it." And I was like, "Okay." But I'm doing it only if I can still do CrossFit. And he's like, "Well, yeah, that's fine. Cause it's just your nutrition. Like if we really dial in, then you'll be fine." So
What about posing? That's a whole nother.
That was a whole nother thing. I don't like that attention. I don't like being on stage. So that was really hard for me.
Yeah. So why did you do it then? Was it like a bucket list type thing, or something, just stepping out of your comfort zone?
Yeah, it was stepping. But then after my first one, it was really fun to do it again. Okay. And I made my friend do it with me at the time. Cool. So that helped a lot. But
any plans on doing any more of those?
So it was really hard. Like that was, because for the whole year, I did one in July and one in December. So like basically the whole year I was dieting. Like,
so Tony's wife, she competes,
really
and she's going for a pro card, right?
We're going to a national show next week.
So to see her progression is crazy, from where she started to where she's at now. But it's just she's always like, I mean, religious about everything that she eats. Yeah,
it's pretty disciplined.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Yeah, so I would probably do it again. Oh, that's what I was gonna say, is that it just took a lot of time, like just to focus on. I mean, just to make, because like I said, like right now, like I'll cheat and have and I'm not like, I don't like fast food, so it's not like maybe Taco Bell. But that's about kind. It. I know. Like we're not gonna talk about what's the worst, but but like I'm saying, like I keep bringing up donuts. Like I might have a donut, or I love chocolate, so like I might have chocolate. But I'm not like, but my meals, I keep all my meals the same. So like I still have the same breakfast.
So you're still getting your macros all the time. You're still getting that protein that you need to build
yeah,
muscle.
Definitely the protein. But now there's like some added snacks in there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but you can afford it when you're burning. Yeah. When you're burning as many calories as you are doing the type of workouts you are. And then not only that, I don't think people realize, like, being a coach, you're burning calories just standing up, walking around.
Well, you're demonstrating.
And because we're demonstrating and we're moving around. You know, again, we're not just standing there like, here, do this.
Yeah, it's exhausting. That's why with jiu-jitsu, it's like there's some days where I just sit down and I'm like, I'm not rolling today, because like the days of me rolling hard and then teaching and then rolling again after, it's too much. It's just a lot, you know. So that's cool. Well, Bria, thanks for all the info, man. It was awesome to get you on here. I know with your crazy schedule, we've been trying to get you on. So
yeah, everyone's busy.
I'm glad. I was looking forward to it because, like I said, I don't know. I like to watch the CrossFit videos. I'm a fan of the CrossFit games. I'm a fan. I've just never joined a CrossFit gym. With what I was doing with fighting, my stuff, it's my workouts. They're functional, but they're very different in the functionality aspect of what you guys do.
Yeah.
But one of our friends, Santos, he actually owns a gym, and he's actually a member at a different CrossFit gym, which is down the street of his gym. So he'll go work out there and then you know go to his gym and teach his clients and stuff. But yeah, it's definitely popular. It's something that is still growing. So, you know, for anybody that's out there in the Corpus or Flower Bluff area, Island, tell them where they can find you at.
So we are right outside of the Navy base, Main Gate Fitness, or JD's Auto.
I love that. They still have the sign JD's Auto on there.
And we made a shirt that I can't even remember what it says now, but like building engines since 2018.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because because they've sold the building now, but the person that was in there before us had it on there, and the owner didn't want to paint over it, and he's like, so if you guys want to, you can. And we're like, nah, we'll just do it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because then people still know where it is. So.
Cool.
And well, what are your class times? So you got 5 a.m.
So 5 days a week, 5 a.m., 9 a.m., 3 p.m., and then 5, 6, and 7 p.m.
Awesome. And if they want to go, they can just show up and ask for you, or ask for somebody at the front desk. The
best way to do it would be to email us at info@maingatefitness.com.
Okay.
And that would be the best way.
Cool. Well,
to just get you started.
We'll make sure and put that up when we post the episode. We'll put the information up there. That way, if anybody's interested. Yeah. Sounds like they got a great thing. I've been there. I know a lot of our students, you know, still are members there, and they have nothing but good things to say about that. It's a great community. You don't have to worry. If you're a woman, if you're a female, there's great, strong female presence there. You don't have to worry. I know that's another thing, unfortunately, in the fitness community. Sometimes, you know, females have to deal with a lot of harassment and a lot of bullshit. And so that's something that you won't have to deal with if you show up. And just look up Bria, and you know, send that info, and they'll get you going. So Bria, did you have anything else you wanted to say, add, thank?
I think that's it.
Hey, you did awesome. She was nervous. We didn't say nothing before, but she was super nervous about coming on. We were like, don't worry about it. You're gonna do good. So I think she did awesome, man. T, you got anything left?
No, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, guys. Well, once again, thank you guys for tuning in. Keep following, keep liking, and as usual, stay blessed, and don't forget, charge that line.